Good afternoon, family and friends of Oakland Cemetery. We're over here at section 1 at the stone of what you see is it says Mary E. E as an echo. And then I'm guessing the maiden name is Mahone, M-A-H-O-N-E, last name Wingfield. And basically what you see of the stone, when we try to move it, basically the stone just kind of lifts up, and that's what we got. There's a fair chance that the broken half of the stone is pretty much where we have our probing tool, and it just kind of pre-staged this. So what we did is almost right under it is a real hard surface, and that's where we believe the second half of this stone is. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this stone, set it aside, and then basically dig out where we believe that the base of the stone is, and then we'll have to go from there. There's a lot of unknowns right now, so we'll follow up with you in the next clip. Alrighty folks, we got our tripod set up, our chain fall. As you can see with our pile of dirt to your right, in order to find the stone, we used the probing tool, or at least what we thought of the broken piece of the stone. We used our probing tool to hit different areas. We ended up finding like a brick, some patch of rocks, but eventually Mr. Harmon was able to find solid sections of what would have been the base. So once we found that, we started digging around. Of course, we had to dig pretty deep, and we did run into those obstacles, the bricks, the rock. And then, so what we did is that now there's a piece of nylon that's strapped around the section of stone that was buried. We're going to raise it up. Once we raise it up, we'll be able to determine if there's any other sections of stone below, if there's a foundation stone, and we'll inform you in the next cut after you see us raise this stone up. So here we go.
All dirty. What we can do is, what I normally do in holes like that, I use the 2x4, I fill it with dirt.
Yep.
And just bring her up.
Yep.
And then tamp it off.
Okay. All right, folks. So the section that had broke off, the top half, is raised. Not until we kind of clean it off, verify the bottom of it to see if there's pinholes. In fact, a long time ago, they may have never used the rebar to go under the pins. So we'll get back to you in the next cut, and we'll see you shortly. All right, folks, we're at the somewhat of the conclusion, and I'll explain why here in a second. We have our tripod chain fall. We got Mary's stone right here suspended. We were able to locate the base. Even though we located the base, when the base was lifted, we attempted to see if there was a foundation below that. We probed in several different directions to determine if there was a foundation below. There was no foundation found. On the bottom of this, the second half of the stone, the bottom half, we did not find any pinholes, and of course they may have not had pinholes back then to put the foundation pins, rebar, any type of bolts or all thread. So what we had to do, just give you an idea, that bottom stone was buried at least 24 inches below the ground, and that's probably why this stone was set aside. And even if you try to probe for it, it was kind of difficult to find. But once we found it, the bottom half was at least 24 inches tall. Now, to explain what we did, we didn't put the stone. We'll say that this is the bottom half and this is the top half. Of course, you don't see 24 inches of the bottom stone all the way up. What we determined to do is we put about 18 inches of the stone below the ground, and a couple things that determined that. One was the inscription basically stops where it says how long she had lived, and then the main thing though is the stability. So if you had this much of the stone above the ground and we'll call this the fracture portion, and this was the top half. What will happen over time is that the stone may topple over again. So to prevent that from happening, we basically recess the bottom of this stone in the ground, and then except for a few inches, and then the top half of the stone is what you see suspended on the tripod. Now, with that stone in the ground, what we did, we put a flat piece of concrete on the bottom to make it stable, and we used two large pieces of concrete, and we literally wedged the base in. So we made it as tight as possible. We did multiple layers of packing and tampering of the dirt, and then what we'll show you right now is we're going to lower the stone down just for two reasons. Show you how the stone's going to look, and then of course verify the fit to determine what we're going to do here in the future. Ready? So what you see, the way that Mr. Harmon adjusted the stone, we just had to do a slight adjustment on the stone. Now, what we're going to do in the future, so that's why I said it's almost complete here, is that we have to determine if we're going to put epoxy on the bottom, if we're going to use pins to hold them down. Based off the age of the stone, we might not even entertain that. What we're going to do is most likely put an epoxy layer in, clamp it in place, let it dry. And a couple factors that we have to take into account is, of course, the environmental and the weather. Other than that, it looks like Mary E. Stone is getting to be good to go. And we'll catch you in the final clip once we finish this stone. Other than that, if you have any questions or comments, or if there's a portion of this which you're like, hey, I didn't see you guys set up the tripod, or how do you set up the nylon, leave it in the comment section below, and maybe we can make a video on that. Give us a like and subscribe. And if you found it entertaining, share it with a friend, and we appreciate your support. And if we don't see you again, we'll catch you in the new year.